Have you tried diet after diet without finding long-term success? Well, believe it or not, it's not you. So many people think they know what they need to do to get healthy, but there's so much misinformation out there that many of us are sabotaging our health goals without even knowing it. Hi, I'm Carrie, a wife, mom, educator, and certified nutrition coach. After being frustrated by dieting and all the confusion out there about what actually works, I decided to figure it out. And what I discovered on my journey challenged everything I thought I knew about nutrition. And the solution is actually much simpler than you realize. So now, I'm on a mission to disrupt everything you think you know about nutrition too. Welcome to the Diet Disruptors Podcast. Today's podcast is brought to you by Disruptive Nutrition's Trifecta Transformation. If you are really ready to see different results, you have to do something different. Our invite-only exclusive program is unlike anything you've ever experienced before. Think of it as nutrition and life coaching thrown together with unwavering targeted support, personalized programming, and a way to finally organize, well, your entire life. Because if we can't do something forever, we shouldn't be doing it now. So we have to teach you how to show up differently for yourself in ways you likely haven't ever done before. We don't tell you what to eat. We teach you how to fuel your body in the way that it needs. We don't tell you what to do. We show you, coach you, and support you to make sure it works for your life, your schedule, for your goals. But teaching you how to eat isn't enough because we know it's our thoughts and our beliefs that dictate our actions. If you don't take this journey of self-awareness with us, you won't recognize your triggers and your mindsets that might be holding you back. The relationship you have with your body, with food, and with your value all stem from your beliefs and what you tell yourself. If we don't support you in that part of your journey, knowing how to eat will never be enough to make lasting change. And let's face it, life is crazy and we can't always control our circumstances. Busy women tend to put themselves last when the chaos ensues, and we end up back where we started, frustrated, defeated, and tired. While you may be feeling motivated at one point, experience reminds us that motivation doesn't last, and eventually we just give up when things get too hard. That's why with our Trifecta Transformation, we will teach you how to keep going even when the motivation wanes. And we do that really well. We have a saying around here, you can't always control your circumstances, but you can control your response. And we show you how to do just that. Our success rate is high, and that's because what we teach is right. It's simple and it's transformational. But it's also because we only invite those who we believe are truly committed and ready to make the change. So if you are interested, go to our website at disruptivenutrition.com and book a free call with a coach today to see if this approach is a good fit for you. Well, hey, Diet Disruptors, Carrie here, and I always love to do a podcast when I have other people on it. And here I am doing my podcast from my new kitchen, which I'm super excited about. But I'm even more excited about our guest for this week. So Sonia, say hello to everyone and why you wanted to be sharing your story today with everyone.
Yes. So hi, everybody. I'm glad to be part of this. So this week I've had so many aha moments. I'm in month 2, so I'm still very much in it. And I know that there are a lot of people that started where I am or starting now, or maybe have to revisit things. And so I just want to share my story and because I'm pretty open and I'm pretty honest. And I think we learn from each other. I'm big on community. Yeah. And if I can share my story where you don't feel alone. And I think a lot of people feel alone in this. You're not alone, and what I was telling Carrie is, yes, guess what? I'm at my ideal weight. I have my ideal body. And I'm still sad and I'm still struggling and I still have trauma that I have to address. And so it's so important when I see feeds, or I'm whether it's TikTok feeds, or there's another group that I've seen where people say, you know, I only eat 500 calories a day, or I only do this, or I need to lose this. Well, I'm here to say I am my ideal weight.
Yeah.
And I still have all these things I have to address.
Yeah.
Because it really isn't about the weight. Because once you get to this weight, you're still left with the baggage.
Yeah.
And so,
and that's,
yeah.
I mean, the same exact thing happened to me when I actually learned how to eat in the way that we teach. I actually didn't address all of the other things that the decades of dieting and an eating disorder actually brought about. So let's just like back up a little bit. So Sonia's a nurse. So, and I it's so funny because our top 3 clients are doctors, nurses, and teachers. And I think for the right reasons, because you all keep giving to others before you give to yourself, and you do enough to like stay alive and then struggle with rest. And also you would think the doctors and nurses have some education on really what we need to do. And I know that I'm re-educating all the time, the healthcare profession, but there's a lot. Again, you came in this while we are a nutrition approach, and you already came into this with a pretty good knowledge of what you needed for your body. And I will say, a lot of people will come in and they don't like need to lose weight, but yet they're still unhealthy, right? Because we're not balancing our blood sugar. We don't understand food. But you really did come in knowing. Now, I think you still learned some stuff around nutrition, right? But that wasn't your big reason for saying yes to yourself. And I think what's so cool about this is when women say yes, it's always around this, I don't like, my body needs to change. You didn't feel like your body needed to change. You thought your mind needed to change.
Yes.
So let's talk about that, because that's true for everybody. Yes. But they think if my body changes, then my mind will change. And then I'll be this happy, like, you know, lesser weight person. But you and I both know that you can do that. And if you don't address the mind piece, you're never going to get to where you really want to go. And I think so many of us can think about the weight we were when we were in our 20s and think, I would just want to get there. And I'm like, but were you on a diet then? Yes.
So true. So true.
So let's talk about that. You know, you needed a mind change. Why?
Yes.
What was going on?
I knew. So I was in my 40s. I turned 43 this year, and I did notice that I was holding on to some fat. As hard as I worked out, I was frustrated by that. I wasn't part of any special diet, but I do intermittent fasting for a long time. And it used to work for me, believe it or not. And then I hit my 40s and no, it didn't work.
And so, working, meaning quote unquote working.
Oh, quote unquote working was just sort of being able to maintain a weight, but I still had all the other things. Okay. So I remember talking to Marley, one of the coaches. I think she was my second coach, and she just said something like PFC3 balance, and it like resonated with me. It was like my aha moment. Like, that's what you're missing. You're not feeding your body. I immediately got phone with her and started implementing that. So I actually started my 4 weeks to wellness way earlier. Because I wanted to start implementing now.
This is when I know somebody is ready. You talk to so many women every single day, and there's most of them were like, you're just not ready yet. That's okay. Go do this, go do that. Here, try this. But you were like, I am ready. And when you were just like all in right there, it's like, those are the women I know are like, oh, she's going to rock this.
Yeah. And it honestly, it was crazy to me, the amount of food I was eating. Like, I was like, really? Like, I can eat? And it's crazy. Now here I am 6 weeks later, and I eat every 3 hours, my body tells me. I have learned to increase certain meals after a workout because I'm hungrier sooner. Yeah. So I've learned to make adjustments.
You're becoming your own nutrition coach.
I am. I have gotten rid of gluten and dairy. And so I've gotten rid of all the excess fat. So as far as like a physical standpoint, whatever goal, quote unquote, I have met.
Yeah. And you took pictures of yourself, and you were like,
I did.
I mean, for somebody that was quote unquote already at your ideal weight, you were like, holy cow, the inflammation is gone. Like, you didn't even realize. I call it like a callus. You know, we get a callus on our hands. We have this callus on our body. And once we get rid of that callus, we don't even realize. Now, I should say, deciding to not do gluten and dairy is a choice you made. I didn't tell you to do that.
No. No, I think so I get the reasoning why we say let's get rid of like inflammatory food, and then reintroduce it. I have had terrible eczema my entire life. I mean, I used to get made fun of in school because I would have these terrible flare-ups and it looked like I had like leprosy. It was terrible
Oh,
up and through adulthood. And I have a prescription strength medication I put on. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, it's gone. It's completely gone. I thought, no way.
I mean,
I
come
can't
on.
believe it. Cannot believe.
This is what
So
I say. If we don't
it's
at least,
insane.
it's like a
It's insane.
foundational thing. How do we not all know this?
Yeah, it's insane. So when I was
I love it.
able to reintegrate it,
Yeah.
I started, and I mind you, we eat Dave's Killer Bread here at home. We're pretty healthy home. And so that's the bread we have here. And immediately I tried it for 2 days in a row. I was tired, I was sluggish, and my eczema was starting to come back. So for me, it's
Now
not
you
worth
know
it.
how to listen to your body. It was
Yes.
happening before you, but you had that callus, and so you weren't really sure what it was saying.
Right. It's so true. And I'm lactose intolerant anyway, but I was trying to sneak in like Greek yogurt or, lactose free cottage cheese. I tried doing that. My stomach got bloated. Not worth it to me. I
Yeah.
don't even miss it. I
So
don't
you've
even miss
made
it. There are
those
so many other
decisions.
things.
Yeah. And I love that
Yeah.
you're listening to your body. And that's what intuitive eating is really all about. Intuitive eating is taught kind of like in a backwards way to me. Like you can't be intuitive with your body if you're not
Yeah.
actually on the same page as it.
No, it's so, and I will tell you, my biggest thing is coffee. So anyone, and like you said, you drank so much coffee. I'm a night nurse. I drink the darkest roast coffee you can think of, black, no sugar, nothing. And I drank almost a pot before I go to work. I thought
I
there's
used to
no
do
way I
that.
can give this up. There's
Yeah.
no way I can give this up. Well, I did. Stuck with green tea. Realized I didn't need it. Realized it was
Because
a
when
habit.
you're fueling your body, it's this natural energy.
Yes. Yes,
cool.
it's more balanced. So I tried to reintegrate it. I felt so sick. I could feel the spike in my sugar. Or my
Even
body.
without sugar.
I don't even use sugar. I just have the dark roast coffee. I was having heart palpitations. There was too much caffeine. So then I brought it down to a quarter cup. Even a quarter cup is too much for me.
Wow.
And I thought,
just love that you're knowing your body. And again, I'm not telling you can't have coffee.
No.
I'm educating you to listen to your body. And I think
Yes.
that's what's so cool.
Yeah. And so now I don't even drink it.
You came into this thinking, I didn't really need the nutrition part. I need the mind part. And then you got all this nutrition part. But let's talk about the mind stuff.
Yes. Okay. So the mind part is the most exciting. Yes. So quick backstory, obviously everybody has trauma, but I would say the most recent trauma that probably put me in a rut was I got divorced a few years ago, long, ugly divorce. And then right after my divorce, within 2 months, he passed away tragically.
Oh my gosh.
And I have 2 boys that were very young at the time. So mind you, they wake up and I have to tell them this.
Oh my God.
And that was so traumatic. But I'm mom and I don't get to fall apart. Okay. At this point, I'm not remarried. It's just me and my boys. I live in a suburb of Austin. When I was married, we moved from Chicago to Austin for work. He was in technology. And so I have no family here. And I have to pick up the pieces.
Oh my
and
God.
so what I have done my entire life and what I had to do to survive was compartmentalize. And so that's how I lived. You just compartmentalize and compartmentalize and compartmentalize. And I realized it was just an avoidance. Yeah. So now here I am several years later, I'm remarried, healthy relationship, have done a lot of therapy, but I knew that there were certain things that I was avoiding because it's such a trigger, but it was keeping me from growing and it was keeping me from being present. And with your program, I knew those were the demons that I was going to have to address.
So say more, because that's really interesting to be able to know I've got these issues.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this nutrition plan is actually going to help me address them.
Yes. I thought that, and mind you, I had only watched your promo video. I think it's like 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
And I remember being at work and it just, and I'm religious and I really believe in God. And I really had said a prayer not too long ago where I thought, I really need to address these things, Lord, but I don't know how to do it.
I hear this from women all the time. They were like, I prayed about it. And then like literally you came into my feed.
And here's the thing. I see TikTok things all the time. I never, ever listen to them. I think it's garbage. I don't like what they promote or what they stand for. So the fact that I even listened,
Mm,
but I think the trigger was, it's really not about that weight.
right.
It's who, what is your why and what is your who? Okay.
We
And
were all
so,
put on this earth for a purpose, and we keep acting like
yes,
it was to find the right diet and to weigh a certain amount.
yeah,
And
yeah.
if we don't
And
get
so,
healthy, we're never going to go do the things. Like,
so true.
yeah.
Right. But if we're not healthy mentally, then you can't even, and here's what I think, and it's just my opinion, I think when you are healthy in your heart, in your soul, in your mind, the nutrition part will just come.
That's
Your weight
beautiful.
will, that excess weight that you are, that you have will just shed. I am in constant fight or flight,
Yeah.
constant, that I didn't even realize that that was my normal.
That's what I
And
talk
I,
about. Think about
yeah,
self-awareness. You were aware enough to know you needed something, but you
yes.
weren't aware enough to know, like, even in the moments that you were in struggle.
No, and what I loved about and what I trusted in, and that's with talking, Marley's amazing. Everybody in your staff is
Isn't Marley,
amazing.
I
Even,
mean, aren't you and Marley in the same town?
yes, we're going to lunch next week.
That
I'm
is
so
that
excited.
to me is like where the God thing comes in. I remember I rarely take initial calls, but if I
Mhm,
do, because our team's super busy, I always say I talked to the
mhm.
woman I was supposed to talk to. I remember once I talked to a woman who lived 4 miles away from me.
Yeah,
Like,
it's so true.
so crazy. And so that's funny because I mean, with all of our coaches, they live all over the country. And the fact that you guys are right in each other's backyard is
Oh, it's so true. It's so true. But she said things that really resonated with me. And
she was the
and
perfect
so,
person for you to talk to. Just
she
her
really
story
was.
alone, you know?
Yeah, she really was. But I knew that I wanted to be more present. I knew I had to address these things.
Yeah.
And in talking to her, and she said, "Oh my gosh, I was telling her a little bit of these things." And what I love about your program, and mind you, I'm still very much in it. And
Yeah.
I'm in the part that's really difficult for me right now. Like doing my ideal week. I'll have to tell you really quickly in a moment. I actually just boxed Shannon this morning.
Your
So
coach.
I had a
Yeah.
huge aha moment this morning with my husband. Um, but it's like you say, it's 1% every day. And so I'm never really overwhelmed. And you have created such a path that it is doable. I don't care where your trauma is or where you're at in your life. I don't care. It's so doable and it applies to everybody. And just really quickly, yesterday I worked on systems and, as I'm doing my systems, I'm realizing, oh, you know what? Your job isn't actually the problem. It's you've not
You're
set
a night
boundaries.
nurse. And so
I'm a
what
night
was
nurse.
we call them rackets. What were the rackets that were going on in your brain around being a night nurse?
Sure. It was, I don't get to sleep enough. You don't have enough time because you're a night nurse. You don't spend enough time with your kids. So you don't have time to do this. So you've got to pick between either your morning devotion or your workout. You've got to pick between this or you've got to pick between this. But actually, when I did my ideal week, I actually don't have to pick between anything. What I have to do is set healthy boundaries. And what I kept coming up with was my husband, it's sabotaging me, and I'm letting him. He has a business and he requires a lot of help. My husband has OCD, and he has ADHD, and everything is a fire for him. And I try to be supportive. And when he wants something done, he's someone that does things in the moment. He's not a procrastinator, but he also can't pick and choose what's important and what's not.
Yeah.
And so I have allowed him to sort of, when I'm home on my off days, to take advantage of most of my day with petty things that apply to him instead of taking care of myself or taking care of the things that I need to handle. And so this morning,
And it would have been easy to be like, well, I have to, so I can't. What got you over the hump of like not using his needs as you're a nurse?
Absolutely. So what I did was when I did my ideal week, when I had to put it to paper, I saw if I had my ideal week and I'm not troubleshooting with him all day, wow, you have so much time within the day and you still have blocks of time to help him.
Wow.
But you've got to maintain that same schedule. Like I do my workouts. He knows not to bother me. He already knows, don't talk
So
to me
you
for
put
an
those
hour.
boundaries in place.
Yes, but I was not saying that I was worthy enough to have the extra hour, that you're more important or what you have to do is more important.
And it was really not about importance at the end of the day, but if you don't put your oxygen mask on first, you can't ever put his on.
And that is so true. So this morning this is what I did. I thought, we're implementing this today. It is, for once, only 70 degrees this morning in Austin, Texas. And so it was nice with no humidity. So I sat outside, I had my tea, I had my Bible out, I did my morning devotion. He came in about 15 minutes. He said, hey, I really need you to help me post something to my Facebook business page. And I look at him and I said, okay, well, is it urgent? Is it a fire? He says, no. I said, well, then I cannot help you until I'm done in 30 minutes. And you can tell he was immediately taken back and he wanted to pout, but I was firm. And he said, oh, well, then I'll just do it at work. I said, well, I would suggest you do that because it'll probably get done faster. And he walked away and I could tell he was kind of annoyed because he's not used to that. And I kept on doing my thing, but I felt so at peace and it gave me strength. And he came back about 15 minutes later to tell me he was leaving. And he says, hey, I get it. I know that I impede on your time. This is important. And I love you. You have a good day. I'm gonna work on this. I said, okay, good, because we're having a new normal now. And it worked and it was great. And I got my, 30 minutes of devotional time. I went and worked out and it was great. And then, he came home a little while ago and I said, hey, I've got 45 minutes, whatever you need help with, I can help you. So it's just creating.
We talk about that a lot, right? Like being the pilot of your own plane, of your own time machine. And so often we think time controls us, but we actually control it. And that is a big piece of what we need to recognize, that time management is a huge part of being able to actually get healthy.
And he was burning me out. I didn't even realize that the reason I was one of the reasons that I'm stuck from moving forward or stuck from doing certain things, he burns me out.
And that's going to impact your marriage, and you can't do that. You're not.
Well, and I told him that. Yes, I said to him, I said, when we were talking, we have actually had a lot of great discussions because of this program. And I had said, and I told him today, I said, when I feel like I don't set healthy boundaries with you or you get upset, it creates resentment. And I don't want to create that. Like, I want to be telling you, hey, I'm doing this, but I need you to respect that, not have an attitude, not be upset. Know that I'm going to help you, but it's just not always, unless it's a fire, it's just not always going to be on your time, because my time matters too.
And fire can be subjective if you don't define it. So fire is literally like life and death stuff.
Yes, right. Exactly. Like some type of business thing that if it's not done right now, like it is huge.
Right.
And there's really nothing that is a fire.
Right.
So you really shouldn't be coming to me for anything.
It's a really big deal, because when we don't have this level of self-awareness, we become this victim of the chaos around us. And because we're the mom, we keep everything together. We just feel like we have to handle this chaos. And what you're showing all of us right now is that by being more aware of what's going on, and by looking at even just our week, our time, we're going to be able to get back so much more control and be better for other people.
Yes. Yeah. I don't think I realized how out of control I was. Yeah. I mean, I really was.
It's just like your body, right? You didn't realize how inflamed you were until you actually do the things that you need to do to be able to, heal that. And it's the same thing with this. We don't realize how out of control we are until we take a step back and in little bits and pieces a day have a chance to really look at it from another point of view.
And one of the other things I would say is, there's a lot of things I'm avoiding because of trauma that I have to deal with. But in the way that you set up this program, I'm going to give you an example. I was dreading the ideal week. It was scary to me. And then I did it. I was like, this wasn't scary.
It's interesting. What do you think
that difficult?
That was scary?
I think just having to figure out, what am I going to have to cut out? Whose feelings am I going to hurt? Do I really, I think maybe it was personal. Maybe it was a lack of accountability. Now I actually have to be accountable and say it.
For those people that don't know what an ideal week is, can you explain what is an ideal week and how did you go about figuring out what your ideal week is?
So for me, the ideal week was in this sort of perfect world, not perfect world, semi-perfect world, right? Without all these little wrenches that get thrown in, what would it look like for you? Right. Every day.
What would your everyday look like?
Yeah. What would it look like?
It all in. So how did you go about doing this? I mean, gosh, especially somebody who works at night, like your schedule is all over the place.
So, and it actually wasn't that difficult because I do have a crazy schedule. You know, when I'm coming off shift, I sleep till 2:00. That's more than half the day that's gone, right? So I really make the days that I am home work. So it's making sure, you know, I'm getting up. Before, I'm going to be honest, before I started the 4 weeks to wellness, I would sleep till noon or 1:00 every day just to catch up on sleep deficit. Guess what? I feel great. I don't have to do that anymore.
Wow.
Okay. So I'm making more of my day. Now I'm up by 8:00. Today I was up by 7:15. I'm starting my day earlier so I can take advantage of the time. So I have self-sabotaged myself. Yes. No, you can't get it back. Yeah. So I'm going to bed earlier. Before I would be up till 1 or 2 in the morning. Nope, no more. By 11:00, I tell my husband, I am going to bed, whether you're with me or not.
So my guess is you're setting boundaries for yourself with your schedule, but also fueling yourself correctly with food.
Yes, that made all the difference. Yes, that made fueling my body the way that it was supposed to. And I will tell you, a lot of people like don't eat before they go to bed. I do. I feel great.
Me too.
I don't wake up starving. Like, so I started doing things, you know, it's crazy because I know I'm backtracking. I'm a nurse. I work with nothing but women and they are constantly talking about their weight. I have several that are on that Ozempic shot and they freak out with how much I eat. They cannot even believe it. It's insane. But yeah, I'm feeling my body the way it's supposed to, and my body trusts me. And in return, I feel great. I wake up feeling great. I wake up feeling just motivated to start my day and not just wasted and sluggish and all those things. So you know, the goal that I'm setting for myself is, you know, wake up, have breakfast, do my morning devotion, get my workout, get my shower in. And then every day it's tackling something. You know, usually my first day of the week off shift is my grocery day. Next day is my cleaning day. Next day is the laundry day. I don't do everyone's laundry.
It all planned out.
Yes, I've really made it. Now I'm very lucky. My husband helps tremendously, and my kids really help to maintain our home. So I'm not the mom or the wife that does everything.
Well, I don't know that it's luck or if it's the way that you set things up. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Right. No,
you're not lucky. You have set that up, and that's what we all need to do, especially because our goal is to raise independent adults. Let's be honest, right? And if we don't show them and expect them to be able to do things, not just for themselves, but also for others in the home, then how are they ever going to be an independent adult?
No, it's so true. My kids tease because they don't get allowance. I said, why would I give you allowance? You live here. Like, why would I pay you for cleaning your room? That's insane. So no, get a job.
That's exactly.
But
I love that.
But yeah, so every day it's tackling something little every day. And wouldn't you know, I have more and more free time because I'm starting my day earlier. I feel better. I'm making the most of my day, but not creating chaos, not where it's activity after activity. I do have moments throughout the day where I can sort of take a breath, read a book, get my nails done.
You have to have margin. But when you're intentional about your time, it doesn't fly away like it does. I mean, how many times can we be on our phone and all of a sudden you're like, holy cow, 45 minutes just went by.
Very true.
No recollection of like any of that time. And what did we really get accomplished? Right. And so, and I'm not saying you never mindlessly scroll, but when you're intentional about like, okay, I got some downtime right now. Let me pick up my phone. Fine. Right. I love that.
Yeah, so I'm definitely being, I mean, that's the key. I feel like that's the running word in my head all the time. I'm being intentional in everything that I do.
I love that.
And so, and how does it serve me? I love that. How does it serve me? How does it serve my body? Does it serve my family? You know, and so.
And by serving you, are you serving your family? And I think that that's so important. So many times I'll say to women who are like unsure about whether or not they want to, you really make the investment, not just in finances, but in themselves. Right. And I'm like, if your kids needed this, you would do this for them in a second. We don't always feel like we have the value to do this, but yet we are doing this for our kids. Do you feel like in the 6 weeks is all you've been with us? Like, do you you feel like you're already improving, I guess, in areas of like motherhood and wifehood and all of that.
Yes, I would say, okay, so my commute is almost an hour each way.
Oh
So I
my
listen to
gosh.
yes, I listen to, so mind you, that eats up a lot of my time for
Yeah.
my days as well, but I make the most of it. I listen to all the coaching calls. I listen to all the mindset calls. And so it has really helped to shape my mindset, the rackets that you tell yourself
Yeah.
that are not true. But guess what? They'll be true. If you keep saying them, you create the reality that you believe.
Yep.
And so it's helped me to be more positive, even with my husband. If he's going through something, you know, we can talk about, hey, you're letting that racket get in the way.
Yeah.
What's real and what's not real. Let's talk about
rackets
with
are
my
huge.
son is 17. He's a junior in high school, and you know, he's hormonal and he's a teenager. And so we always talk about mindset. He's hard on himself. School does not come easy to him.
Yeah.
So let's put things in perspective. If we tell ourselves we're dumb, if we tell ourselves those
Yes.
things, well, that's what you
And
give.
knowing all of this and then knowing how to change your language with your own kids is huge. And, you know, for years, this is what I would do with Grace, but I never knew if it stuck. And now I see her as her freshman year of college. And not only does she call me every day for like a coaching session, but I see how she's functioning as an independent adult. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you are eons beyond where I was at your age. And that's what this is all about, changing our family tree. And
it's so true. And it's all the generational trauma that comes from that, like you were saying, but it starts here at home and it's got to start somewhere. And like I said, I'm, you know, like my son, you know, I said, you need to get up every day. I want you to get up and do something.
Yep.
Now he gets up, you know, we live in a community where there's a gym just a few blocks away. He gets up, he goes to the gym. He's doing things to be motivated, to keep busy. Yep. It starts now. You're going to be an adult one day and you're going to have hardship and you still have to do all those same things. Like you don't stop living.
Yep. And I will tell you from experience right now, even if your kids aren't listening, they're listening, because Grace getting her to move her body and all that was just very, very challenging for us. And she's not working out all the time.
Oh, it's so true. And mind you,
in college.
Yeah, my son, you know, experienced, I mean, his dad just passed away a few years ago. That is trauma.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he, you know, and he's my kiddo that's very sensitive and he's still very angry, but it's going through therapy. It's working through it, talking about generational trauma, talking about how we're going to make his story different, how he's going to write his own story. And what we need to do to find, you know, to find the beauty in what this chaos is. Yeah. Right. Let's find it.
Even at your age right now, knowing that like I got to write a new story, but being aware.
Oh yeah.
To know that.
Well, and I think, let me just tell you this. I was talking to my mom the other day and I said, you know, through this program, I've really had to, this program is, let me just say, it is so much more than I thought it was. Even though I knew I was going to dig deep, it is so much more. It has created so much more self-reflection, but honest self-reflection. I can tell you times I cried, you know, or even had to call my mom and address things or say, wow, I didn't realize how insecure I was or am. Didn't realize, you know, I've been covering up this or why I made certain choices because of whatever it is, abandonment, insecurity, whatever childhood thing I had to go through created a lot of the decisions that I made. And having to face it now so that I don't continue that, so that I have a healthier marriage, I have a healthier relationship with my kids. Because I was like, I had to look at myself and say, wow, I'm sort of repeating the cycle. And I tried so hard not to.
Yeah. And you've been through therapy, especially because of everything that you've gone through. And there's never a knock on therapy, because we need it. And it's incredibly helpful. Therapy, though, really takes a look at the past and what happened. And coaching makes you look forward and makes you have to deal with what's going on in front of you to make the best choices. And so that's the difference. Some people need both. But a lot of times we get stuck in the past and don't know how to move forward. And that's what you're doing right now.
Well, and that's exactly what's happening. And the way that you have done it lets me do a little bit every day. And so it's not overwhelming and it's not scary. And you don't realize, oh, wow, I really addressed this. Wasn't that scary? Wasn't that hard? And now I've overcome it and now I'm ready for this next step. So I think it's amazing. Like everybody I know about it.
Oh, I love that so much. But I really kudos to you, because I always joke, like, Amazon comes every day to my house, but if I don't open the door and open the package, I don't even know. It's like Christmas every day, but I don't even know what's in there, because Peter's sometimes like, well, what'd you order? I'm like, I don't even remember. Right. I have to actually go and open it to be able to see what was inside. And I think that that's so much of what you have been doing, with such an open heart and mind and desire to be able to soak it all in, that it's just permeating through you. And that's what we look for when we invite people into our family like this. So I'm excited for you. I'm excited for your marriage, for your children, and for all the people, your patients, and everybody else that you come across, because again, you putting your own oxygen mask on means you're going to be able to do so much more for others. So Sonia, I'm so glad that you're here. If you have like, I'm going to put you on the spot for a second for like a tip, but if you had to take away, like if you were talking to a friend or somebody that's really just struggling in all these areas of life, and you had like a Twitter feed to say, like, this is where you need to start, like, just like, think about this or this, what's your advice for somebody like that, that's sort of all over the place and doesn't know really where to go?
Gosh, that's a good question.
I know.
Are we talking about just like mental, like, or are you talking about somebody who is,
let's say that they're in this place? Because a lot of people that we talk to, right, they feel like they need to lose weight. They're doing diet after diet. That the mental piece is all over the place.
So here's what I always say. Because I have this discussion quite often, actually, with a lot of men, and really big, or women, men too. Just so you know, my husband, if you saw him, he's perfectly fit, but his blood work does not say that. And so he makes me laugh, because he actually just had ice cream the other day. He's like, but I had 4 egg whites with it. It's awesome, but he's lost 30 pounds. But that question actually comes up a lot. And what I always say is, it's never about weight. It's never about weight. When you love yourself, I feel like, and when you've addressed things that have hurt you, whether it's the little girl in you or the grown up in you, then you want to fuel your body and feed your body the way it's supposed to. It just naturally happens that way. And the weight you'll be at your ideal weight, whatever that weight is, and you'll be healthy. But until you address those things, you're going to always be in this constant fight with yourself. And and so that's probably what I would say. And just really quickly, like I said, I do my morning devotion, and I always feel like you need to hear what you like on that day. And today it was about prayer, and it was basically saying, prayer isn't about bringing your list of things that you want to God. It's about bringing this list that you already signed blank and saying, do with it as you will.
Oh, I love it.
Right? Put on there whatever you think it is that you need, because I don't know more than you. And so that's kind of what I've done with your program. I'm saying, I'm a blank sheet. I'm going to sign it, right? Scary, financially scary, big investment, but I'm trusting you. I'm trusting myself. I'm trusting this program, but I'm going to do my part, right? I can't just let you do your part. I've got to do my part in this. And it's signed, and I'm going to see what happens, right? So that's really the approach that I went into it with. That your program is just sort of, that was my prayer, and this is how it's going to come to fruition.
And I love that. And you listened, you saw the signs in front of you.
Right. And I work on being still. I think a lot of people don't stay still. Be still. You'll hear it.
Well,
You'll
we
feel
just had
it.
a coaching call last week in our membership group. And I think I shared with you guys is the sign that I saw in my daughter's school from a teacher who writes a new kind of thoughtful wisdom kind of thing every day. And this one was, don't surround yourself with yourself. It was something like that, right?
Oh, it's true. And you say so. Maybe even your adoption story with your mom having the money, the exact amount of money. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you don't even know how that pulled on my heartstrings. I thought,
there's so many kind of opportunities to be able to see that, how we think about what we do at Disruptive Nutrition, especially, is aligned with what we all really need. And however, though, if you don't open the door and open the Amazon package, you're never going to know what's inside there. So,
and if you don't put the work in, you're always going to have this yo-yo dieting. You're always going to be looking for the next fast thing.
Next thing. Yep.
And you're never going to get there. It's just not going to happen because it isn't about that. It isn't
just
about
feels like such an unsatisfying life. And that's what makes me so sad for so many women, because we know what's possible and you're seeing it. And I love this. So what we got to do is like check in with you in another 6 weeks or so and just see where you are and how much more you've evolved. You've already taken so much away, and I just can't wait to see what happens next. Sonia, thank you so much.
I'm looking forward to month 3. Shannon's like, you're really gonna like month 3.
Oh, it's my favorite. So I can't wait for you. Make sure you text me and tell me all the things you're loving.
I will. Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Sonia, thank you so much. It was so good to have you here.
Thank you, guys. Everybody have a good day.
Bye.
Thanks, Carrie. Bye.